Normally, when we go to Gurdwara, we don't even listen to Katha anymore because we find that it's boring or it's too long-winded or we don't understand. But Guru Sahib here tells us that if we do want spiritual wisdom, it's not just Kirtan, it's not just Katha. Katha and Kirtan are both sides of a coin, which it goes together. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to another video where we explore the stories of Gursikhs of Guru Nanak Dev Ji based on Sikha Di Bhagat Mala written by Shaheed Bhai Singh Ji as they explore the names of Sikh mentioned by Bhai Gurdas Ji in Vaar number 11. So today's Sakhi we are going to be looking at two Gursikhs of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Bhai Malo and Bhai Manga Ji. So Bhai Gurdas Ji says in Vaar number 11, Malo Manga Sikh Doe, Gurbani Ras Rasak Bilasi. That Bhai Malo and Bhai Manga Ji were two Sikh who were deeply connected and they were just immersed in the essence, the beauty, the amrit, the nectar of Gurbani. So Bhai Malo and Bhai Manga Ji were two Sikh and in their town they used to do Kirtan and Katha together. So Bhai Malo Ji would do Kirtan, then Bhai Manga Ji would do Katha and so on. So one day, Bhai Malo and Bhai Manga Ji came to have darshan of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, and as they met Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they asked this question. They said, "Ki Sache Pacha, can you give us some teachings, some Sikhya, which will help us to attain liberation?" So Guru Nanak Dev Ji looks at Bhai Malo and Bhai Manga Ji and they said that there are three types of penances. Now, we have covered this in the previous Sakhi as well, but here it's a little bit different how Guru Nanak Dev Ji is explaining. So Guru Sahib says ki there is one type of penance which is the tamasic penance. So we know ki sattvic, rajasic and tamasic are the three qualities of Maya, and they are differentiated by sattvic being good, rajasic being moderate, neither gaining nor losing, and tamasic is basically in the losing side where it doesn't help you to connect with Vaheguru. So Guru Sahib says even penance, tapasya, meditation can be categorized into these three as well. So Guru Sahib looks at the Sikh and said that tamasic penance is basically when we cause physical suffering to the body. So, sitting down and surrounding ourselves with fire on a very hot weather, or if it's really cold, sitting in icy water and meditating, not eating, not bathing, keeping long hair and so on. And Guru Sahib says you're just causing physical suffering to your body. Why? Because you don't want to feel lazy or tired or sleepy. But Guru Sahib says that this type of penance, so much of suffering, so much of time, and you are away from the world, you don't have any connection with your family, your friends, or with the world, and you are secluded. But Guru Sahib says that this type of penance, so much of effort, but the reward is very little. Now Guru Nanak Dev Ji then says, okay, you should perform Rajasic and Sattvic penance. So Guru Sahib says, ki the Rajasic penance is where you listen to Katha and Kirtan and help your mind to focus. So you use your senses and redirect them from something negative to something positive. And in this advice to the Sikh, Guru Sahib says that positive is Katha and Kirtan for you. And Guru Sahib says ki this Rajasic penance of listening to Katha and Kirtan, the effort is less, but the fruit is a lot more. The reward is very much higher than Tamasic penance. Then Bhai Malo Ji looks at Guru Sahib and says, Guruji, I don't understand this. Normally in the world, we understand that if you put in a lot of effort, then you get equal amount of reward as well. You get more reward. And if you put in less effort, you get less pay or less reward. But how is it that if we put in so much of effort of torturing our body, sitting down, meditating, not eating, and so on, how is it that this gives us little reward? And doing something simple like Katha and Kirtan, listening to Kirtan, listening to Katha, gives us more reward. Can you explain this? Bhai Malo Ji is asking Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Now Guru Sahib explains by giving a worldly example, an analogy. Guru Sahib says, ki if you look at a woodcutter, what the woodcutter does is he goes into the jungle early in the morning or many times in a day and he does physical labor of chopping down a tree, cutting the woods, carrying the woods on his shoulders, on his back, bringing the wood to the town and selling the wood. But how much does he get? Maybe a few cents, maybe a few dollars. He does, and so much of effort he put the whole day just for some cash in return. And if you look at the other physical labors, like coolie, for example, they carry your luggage for you. So when you arrive in a town, there's someone who comes and carry your luggages for you or help to transport things from one place to the other place. Physical labor, they have to carry things on their back, their body hurts, their body aches, they don't sleep, they work 14, 16 hours in a day. But how much do they get paid? Very little. Then Guru Sahib says, if you look at businessmen, people who do textile business, people who do money business, all they do is they sit down in their shop. They have a shop, they have all the provision in the shop, they have their jewelries, their gold, whatever not, and they just sit down and enjoy. And people come to their shop, and when they do business, when they buy textile or a jewelry, for example, when they come to a jewelry shop, the jeweler tells them that the stone is like this is a diamond stone, how many carat it is, what's the greatness of this stone, how precious this stone is. And when people buy something so small, that stone or textile, kapde, or they do some money business, the profit in it is so much more. And all they do is just sit down and sell things. Now, Guru Sahib then explains to Bhai Malo and Bhai Manga ji that one person who does tamasic penance, they torture their body and so on, they do get reward. And their reward is this spiritual, supernatural powers, riddhya and siddhya. But these things is not the ultimate goal. It's still way much below liberation and mukti. So Guru Sahib says that the reward is very little. But if you do listen to Katha and Kirtan, what happens is first, when you sit in Sangat and you listen to Katha and Kirtan, your prosa, your faith towards Vaheguru is strengthened. You start to have more faith and more love towards Vaheguru. And because of this prem bhakti that you're doing, you will start to gain spiritual wisdom. Spiritual wisdom means Brahm Gyan, of understanding and realizing who you truly are, which means you are Atma Sarup. And that will start to lead you to liberation, to mukti. So tamasic penance is the physical torturing the body. Then the rajasic penance is listening to Katha and Kirtan. But then Guru Sahib says, कि above that, which is sattvic tapasya, sattvic penance, is when your mind starts to focus and now you start having spiritual wisdom and now you are realizing your true identity, which is Atma Sarup. That is now sattvic penance. So now Bhai Malo ji and Bhai Manga ji, after getting these teachings, this gyan from Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they went back to their town, and this is what they used to do on a daily basis, which Sangat ji, I feel that we need to learn as well. Normally when we go to Gurdwara, we don't even listen to Katha anymore because we find that it's boring or it's too long-winded or we don't understand. But Guru Sahib here tells us that if we do want spiritual wisdom, it's not just Kirtan, it's not just Katha. Katha and Kirtan are both sides of a coin, which it goes together. And we need both elements in our life as well. So what Bhai Malo ji used to do was, he would do Katha of the Shabad written by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. So what Shabad Guru Nanak Dev Ji had recited, Bhai Malo ji used to write it down and they would do Katha of that Shabad. Now Bhai Manga ji would sit down in front of Bhai Malo ji and they would listen single-mindedly with focus to the Katha of the Shabad. After the Katha is done, only then Bhai Manga ji would do Kirtan of that Shabad. So Guru Sahib is teaching us even how do we do Kirtan of Gurbani. Now sometimes there's a lot of Mahaprabhu also will give this advice that try not to do Kirtan of Gurbani that you have not understood or you have not reached their level of that avastha that Gurbani is trying to say. For example, if we are singing a Kirtan or a Shabad, Tohi Mohi, Mohi Tohi Antar Kaisa, there was a difference between God and me, I'm one. But inside, asi Papa dena pare hoya, that our mind has not even focused. We have not done any Simran, we have not focused. But we are singing a Shabad that we have not connected to yet. We have not reached that level yet. So for those type of seekers, then we should sing बेनती वाले शब्द. हम अवगुण परे एक गुण नाही कि रख लो मैनू. Rakho rakhanhar dayala, Nanak karke gole. Singing such shabad where we are doing ardas and beintiyan ki sache pacha, save me. My mind is not focused. I can't do bhakti. Help me. Then when you do kirtan, the role of a kirtani is, first they do kirtan to make Guru Sahib happy. And when they make Guru Sahib happy, how do they make Guru Sahib happy? Because first of all, the kirtani must understand what they are singing. Number one, how do you understand what you're singing is? By listening to the katha of the shabad. So if let's say you are going to be doing a kirtan of a certain shabad, understand the meaning of the shabad. So when you're singing it, you're actually connecting to the meaning of the panktiyan. And when you're connected to the meaning of the panktiyan, now from inside, you will be doing ardasa as well. You'll be talking to your Guru. And now you're having a connection with Guru Sahib. What happens is, when the kirtani is connected to Gurbani, connected to Guru Sahib, everyone else listening to the kirtan or singing the kirtan or sitting in the sangat, the energy will flow inside the sangat and everyone will be focused as well. This is the same thing when Guru Nanak Dev Ji told the Qazi in the previous Sakhi of Daulat Khan, ki if the person leading the prayer is not focused, how can everyone else following the prayer focus as well? So here Guru Nanak Dev Ji is giving us a really big Sikha teaching on how to do kirtan and how to listen to katha. So itni ka benti parwan karni, I hope we learn as well as a kirtani and also as the sangat listening to the kirtan and katha as well. How should we focus and connect to Gurbani? So Pula Chuka Dikhima, Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.